Hey everyone, welcome back to the BSOC Bulletin podcast. We are your hosts, the publications team, and today we are joined by the very lovely co-presidents of the UNSW Business Society, Will Tu and Sarah Kim.
Hi guys.
So I think we'll just start, name, degree and favourite thing about BSOC.
So I'm Sarah. I'm currently studying commerce and computer science, majoring in finance, and I'm in my third year. My favourite thing about BSOC is I feel like a lot of people come from really different parts of life, and we kind of like join together and support each other like so much so that we can just go on our own journey, like our own paths again. So it's kind of like that little meeting ground where we just like meet and then diverge again, but of course we'll like hopefully still be really close afterwards. I think like mainly just the really supportive environment, what I really love.
Yeah, for sure. So my name's William. I'm a third year student studying actuarial studies and commerce, and my most favourite thing about BSOC is just the feeling that you always got a little family around you, no matter what you're going through. So even if it's as basic as going through exams, but even if it's some more personal stuff, you just always have a really great group of people with you to support you along the way. So that's probably inherently my favourite thing about BSOC.
Sweet. How about you guys?
I want to say my favorite thing about BSOC is you guys give us a lot of freedom to do things we want. So obviously with the podcast, we can, interview a large variety of guests, put a little spin on it sometimes.
Yeah.
So we were thinking, today, for the very first episode.
No way! Oh my! Oh. So we hope you're good with spice.
Yeah, you got how are you guys with spice? Would you say?
I'd say...
I don't think I'm too bad, but
Damn, you can carry me there.
I feel like there's different types of spice though. So for example, like Chinese spice I can take really well, but I'm Korean, but Korean spice I can't take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's like the worst kind of spice?
Like when it's really hot as well, like
Yeah.
the food's hot and spicy. I think that
Yeah.
combination's just it
Sweet.
burns.
Sure.
Luckily none of these are like hot temperatures.
Yeah, lucky you. All we've
Yeah.
got is like soggy nuggets now.
Some of these look like actually scary, but
I'm actually quite concerned.
Let's choose this one.
all right. First one, guys.
Cheese.
So just first up, what does your role as co-presidents of the Business Society actually entail? So like your day-to-day tasks, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I think a big part of that is sort of providing and leading by example. I think that's a really good one, especially to other actors and also to the new subcommittee that has just come in. It's really exciting the things that we can do by leading by example. For example, just showing commitment, but also being really good friends with everyone and making sure that everyone gets involved, but also making sure that each event every year gets better and better each time. I think that is even more important, and as a co-presidents, that's kind of our role to overlook the whole society and to make sure all facets and each portfolio is doing better every time.
So obviously you guys did mention the sort of like commitment you guys do have or the involvement you have. What do you think's been like the most rewarding part so far? Like I know it's not been more than like 6 months, but what's been the most rewarding part?
So like coming into our roles, we all had our individual visions. So we kind of like had all these visions separately of what we want to do in our role. And when we came together, one of the first things we did was align our visions and try to find a middle ground for all of them. So that's kind of how we came up with like all our campaign ideas. It's essentially like a combination and like I guess a bit of a consolidation of our individual visions. So it's been really rewarding to see us like being able to support each other in fulfilling these visions. Even if it was individual, we're just kind of like working towards it all together. I think that's something that's been really fulfilling for me.
Yeah, I think similarly to me, it's all about community. So if you walk around university or just sort of around stations or just around a place, there's a easy tendency to just say hi to the people you meet. But for the people that you meet in the business society, whether that be from our orientation camp or just any social events, educational events, these networking events, you can really just stop by with these people that you meet and actually have a really good chat. So I think that is what really separates just people and acquaintances versus the people that you can meet through the connections with the business society.
Looking back at like where you've come from through the business school, obviously you come out of high school and then suddenly you're in first year uni, and now you're here as the co-presidents of the Business Society. We're kind of interested in how do you find your journey? Like, how is the transition going forward? What were the things along the way? Any notable moments that you can think of, and favorable events that you look back on?
Yeah, for sure. I might just start this one off. So coming into university, I did have a really, really great group of friends that I'm still really great mates with to this day. But I knew that there were so many other people to meet as well at university. So it started at orientation week when I met some of the directors and executives of the Business Society back in 2020, and just seeing them engage with each other and just having laughter with each other, and also the first year students just kind of gave me a little inkling of what BSOC was like. Just a very inclusive family that was filled with a lot of fun, filled with a lot of joy, and also a lot of potential memories as well. So that's what really drawn me to sort of apply for subcommittee, and then from there the journey has just gone on to directorship and to presidency now.
Yeah, so I guess coming into university, in high school, I didn't really take on that many opportunities. I was just kind of like with my friends, I like studied and things like that. Like, I think I played basketball, but that was about it. I wasn't like super involved in high school, so I didn't think I would be really involved in university either. But when I came to UNSW, I saw how like strong the community is with like all the societies that there are. So I knew that like, in order for me to really enjoy like the 4 years that I have here, I should like do something about it, right? So while I was like thinking about which societies I should apply for, one of them was BSOC, and I guess that's because it's like quite well known. It's like really big, and I knew there would be like a lot of people I'd be able to meet and a lot of opportunities here. So I was quite keen to apply. I did. Directorship was like something that I was considering like last minute as well. I think like it's kind of been that way for me, and like I really enjoyed it, obviously, which is why I decided I want to continue for co-pres. It's been really great so far, and I have like no regrets at all.
I feel like I'd agree with Sarah. Just the sort of like, you get involved and it's that rewarding that once it gets to the point where it's like, oh my god, it might be time to leave, you don't really want to.
Don't want to, yeah.
Yeah.
Because like I feel like you guys are saying, BSOC really is like a big family, and like it's almost like you get so close with these people over the years. It's like almost difficult to like leave them.
I feel like the same thing you said before about being like a last minute decision. Like for me, I'm not sure how people decide so early. Like, okay, I want to go for director, or I want to go for exec so early on.
Yeah.
It's just like, enjoy it while it lasts, because at the end of the day, it's only like 12 or so months. So
Especially when you have like so many different things to consider, it's not really something that you can just kind of like always set your mind on from the beginning, which is like completely fine, right? Like I know Will was kind of set on like continuing his journey from like the beginning, but for me I was like the complete opposite. But either way, like we still really love the society and just the community, even though it's like so much work. I think just like you guys and everyone else, it just makes it worth it. So yeah.
just with that, how would you guys say BSOC has then like shaped you as people over the last 2.5 years or so?
That's very fair enough. I'll start off with this. First of all, when I was going out of high school, for all of those who knew me, I was a very, very, pretty much a problem child. I'm in high school, just very naughty, very cheeky, and whilst the teachers liked me, they liked me for probably the wrong reasons, just because I just gave them a bit of a laugh. But entering the business society, especially my first year, I started to sort of still keep my personality, but kind of shape it in a way that was more meaningful. Heading into directorship, so I was a social director last year in 2021, and leading a subcommittee really forced me to shift my gears a little bit in terms of how I behave, how I interact, and it did make me a lot more mature because I was leading 10 of my subcommittee. Shout out to Social 2021. But if they saw that I was a bit of a goofball, but I was just a goofball only, then that won't sit well, and that doesn't really lead by example too well. But what really made me just step up was just seeing the amount of change that I could make, even at all these social events. For example, like the orientation camp in first year. That's a very important one. You're sort of shaping the worlds of around 200 to 300 first years, and sort of being that guiding light to them is really, really important. So that's kind of what made me step up a bit more. And then heading into the co-presidency role, looking after all of our directors, around 30 directors and 100 people in our committee. That's what really shapes me into the person I am today, to be someone who really enjoys leading, especially by example, but also just making sure that everyone in the society feels like family, and that I can sort of step down and make sure that everyone's feeling okay, and making sure that they have a good time as well.
I think this is like a hard question for me, because I would say there were so many things that like shaped who I am today in the past like 2 or 3 years, right? But BSOC was a really big part of it, so I'll just kind of like answer more generally. That's okay. But I think like in high school, I was really close to like my friends, and I just kind of stayed with them. Although I really liked meeting new people, I wouldn't like exactly put myself out of my way, like go out of my way to like meet new people and things like that. And also I came from a selective school, so it's a bit of a bubble, like everyone kind of comes from the same background, and like we have like really similar values and things like that. Yeah, so I think like coming into uni, I meet so many different people, and I think I've become overall a lot more open-minded and just like open to trying new things as well. I wasn't really a risk taker in high school, which is so weird because now I'm just like the most spontaneous person in terms of like, I just like do random things if I feel like it. And I think like, yeah, it's just been really good being able to like be a lot more confident in myself and like be comfortable with who I am without having to feel like I need to fit into like a mold or anything like that. So yeah, definitely like maybe it's something to do with just like growing up in general as we like get older, or like the people around me and things like that. But yeah, just like definitely have become a lot more open, I guess, in different ways. Yeah.
I died. I literally died.
Yeah.
Bro, rip Will Ray.
Sorry?
You're not making it past like level 5, bro.
Oh, no way.
It's level 3, so it should be fine, right?
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
boys.
That's got more kick.
That was very lovely, though.
So, we've been talking a lot about your social and personal development thus far, but BSOC also has a really great mix of professional and career-oriented events and, I guess, initiatives. So, can you tell me about your professional journeys and how BSOC, I guess, has contributed or shaped it?
When I first started uni, I was private tutoring a lot, so I was kind of happy with that. It was like really flexible. I could just choose my own hours, and like it's pretty good like value, if you know what I mean, right?
The pay's pretty good.
Yeah. So I was like pretty happy with that. But then I think like at one point I was like, oh, I really want to like see what else is out there. So I applied for this company called Eucalyptus, which is currently where I'm still working at. So I applied last year in like April, and I got the job in May. I'm currently doing customer experience, which is like half of it is supporting your customer. Well, your core role is to support your customers, right? And just trying to improve their experience by like reaching out to them if they have like questions or anything like that. But also a part of it, which I really love, is I'm able to work on projects that I think will improve their experience overall. So I get to work with like internal teams, stakeholders and things like that. I've been on some really cool projects, so it's been really great seeing like that company grow so much, and just like I was able to get myself involved in it. I think like, to be honest, I got quite spoiled for my first job because like the culture's really good. Yeah, they were like so supportive of like my personal and professional development as well, which is why before I applied to that, I also had 2 other like internships lined up for the summer. So because I got the job in May when I first joined, I was like, oh, like to be completely honest, in the summer I have like these 2 internships. Am I able to like take some sort of leave or something like that to do these internships? And they were like, yeah, of course. So they were like really supportive. I took 3 months of unpaid leave to go to Deloitte first. So I started Deloitte at the end of November. There I was a HR tech consultant intern. So what that means is like for really big companies, they have a lot of HR systems in process, including like payroll and timesheets and things like that. So for these really big companies, they have their specific requirements. So a HR tech consultant, what they do is they help implement and build and implement these solutions based on what the client requires. So I was able to, for like a month, be a part of that, just kind of I think I was on like 3 projects at once. So it was really good to see like that diversity of like how such a simple system can be implemented, implemented in like so many different ways. Helped me develop like all these various skills. And after that, I was at EY for assurance intern. There I was able to kind of like help the team do auditing. It was a really busy season, so I got to get exposure to a lot of different things. And then now I'm like back at Eucalyptus after that. So for all of this, BSOC has definitely helped so much, because especially for my Deloitte and EY, like I got so much help from the execs before me. So I was a director and they were like execs, so they helped me a lot in like throughout the whole process. So literally from like resume application to like the final interview, they helped me every single step of the way. I was able to do like mock interviews with my fellow directors and things like that as well, so it was really good. And then at Eucalyptus, I even like referred one of my BSOC friends, May, and so we're able to still work together even though she's not in BSOC anymore. So I think just like being able to continue that community aspect in your work as well has been really cool, something that I didn't think would happen, just because like I don't know, I always thought uni and professionalism like that would be like completely different things, but just seeing it blend and people helping each other has been really cool. So it's been really good seeing you guys like go through the process as well. And hopefully we're able to help you more along the way.
Pretty amazing. Yeah, for me, I started really similarly with Sarah as well, just in tutoring like most selective school people do out of high school. But I also got landed a role as a credit analyst at this loan company called MoneySpot Finance. Here I was actually working with some of BSOC's alumni. So actually this year's treasurer, Jensen, was working with him, and also last year's some directors, namely Eric and Andy. Working here, just underwriting and performing a lot of these risk assessments with these bank statements that individuals give us, and then from there we kind of calculate how much we should give a client, and then from there how many repayments and the length of the term of the loan. With there though, whilst it was such an amazing company and I learned so much in terms of the technical side of analyzing bank statements, having a look at just normal accounting figures and terms, but actually implementing that in the workplace was really, really valuable. But I would say that after that I kind of wanted to look for something a little bit more, and so that's why throughout the summer I landed an internship at this place called Airtasker, which is a recently listed company that is basically a marketplace for all different types of services. So if you need your house cleaned, if you need your garden mowed, or even if you need some furniture being moved, that's the place where you go. So shout out to Airtasker. With there, I was with a couple of some other directors this year as well in BSOC, and it's honestly such a great experience. That was actually facilitated partly with someone from the BSOC alumni. So that was really, really great in terms of the connections there. But within Airtasker, I'm working within the marketing and data team. Just coming up with a lot of innovative solutions to sort of grow the company even further than it is right now. Namely, an example, most recently there was those floods that happened in New South Wales and also around Melbourne and Queensland. So we're coming up with this project to try to facilitate and help them as much as possible by giving them $200 worth of Airtasker credits that they can use for any task. So it might be, hey, my car is filled with water, I need someone to help me. Then they can sort of use that there. So that was really, really helpful. And just seeing the value that you can have in a kind of startup-y company, and especially in technology companies, is so valuable. And I've just really enjoyed my time there. I'm still working there right now, but it's coming to a close pretty soon. But it's just been amazing to see the value that you can have as just an intern at a company, and the sort of drive that you can change. You definitely feel very valued at a company, sort of based around technology, based around the startup environment. So I think that was really great. And so coming into the business society, those have definitely shaped the ways that you perform interviews, just like Sarah said, or even the way that you interact with other people, whether that be a face-to-face interview where you're talking to a manager, but also within some other candidates that might be in, for example, a group interview. It really does help. And all the soft skills, all these hard skills that you learn, being part of BSOC, or even going to a lot of educational events, those definitely help a lot in terms of landing some roles at either big, small companies along the way.
I think just from our perspective, we probably agree with that, just because coming in terms of where we were when we started directorship compared to where we are now, all of us, the wealth of knowledge that not only exec has, but also what's shared amongst board, just what people are going out of the way to help each other with tips here and there, with study tips, everything in between. Yeah. So like Josh, even speaking from your side of things.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, going through that whole process of applying to the law. I mean, I've never really applied for anything professionally much before, but reaching out to exec, you, Jensen, Billy, I mean, doing all the work that you guys put in to help us go through, and I was so nervous. I was just messaging people you guys have any tips? And it's unbelievable. You guys no response, no waiting time. Just all right, here's what you should do. Don't worry about it. And that really helped me just feel confident. And then, I mean, I landed the role. So I mean, thank you. So definitely feel that I just love the community and of being able to have people to rely on, and then obviously you'll help them with things and they'll help you. It's so nice.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely. Yeah. This one actually smells amazing. I'm excited.
So we've talked a lot about obviously what BSOC has done for you guys. So in terms of your biggest learnings over the last 2.5 years again, what do you reckon your 3 biggest pieces of learning or points of learning are, and any advice you would want to impart for your first year self?
3 things that I've learned.
Of course, yeah.
Cool. I think first of all, getting involved at university is probably key, because in my opinion, if you sort of go through university, just going to university, going to class, but then going home straight away, I think that's sort of missing out on so much value that you can have. That opportunity cost is just immense if you don't really get yourself involved. It's really simple, just putting your foot in the door. Doesn't even need to be the business society, even though we're a little bit biased, but it doesn't matter what you get involved in, if it's with the student life, with ARC, or even working for UNSW, or just any society that's out there, or these clubs. They really do bring something to the table for you. So I think number 1, definitely getting involved. You get to meet so many people, and definitely so many memories that you're going to cherish for the future, and also the friendships that you meet along the way. I think my second piece of advice is, now this sounds like a bit daunting for those first years, but definitely try to get a bit of an idea of how you want to set up your future. So this doesn't need to be I want to do this in the future, I want to be in this career, I want to make this amount of money. But just having a general direction of where you want to go is really, really important. With me, heading into first year doing an actuarial studies and commerce degree, to be fair, I still didn't know what I wanted to do back then, but definitely talking to a lot of my mentors and a lot of the people that I met within the business society, most notably last year, our VP, Naditha. I learned so much about him because he did the exact same degree as me. And with that, I've definitely had so much learning, and he really led me to this direction and pointed me to the direction of going into sort of the technology industry. And definitely for me, a big interest for me is data and analytics. I think that's so valuable to different companies, and so that's the direction that I'm going to spearhead myself in. So I think that's definitely really good, just to make sure that you understand the courses that you're doing, not doing them blatantly, because it is a lot of money that you're going to invest. So you do want to set yourself up well. Not that much pressure though to do it originally, but definitely just holistically, just have that bit of thought in your mind. I think lastly though, kind of controversing the second point I said, is to definitely just have fun. University is a place where you can really just be yourself. You don't need to force your personality to be someone else, and it's just so amazing, the amount of laughter and the amount of memories that I've made, whether it be some road trips, nights out, and even just everything in between, just messing around at university. Those sort of memories are so cherishable for the future, and it's just amazing how valuable just the university community is. So those would be my 3 takings. And speaking a bit too much, but I just want to say one thing for all the first years or even second years or anyone above that's listening, is to really just take on those 3 points. Meet as many people as you can, because everyone has something different to take to the table, and just enjoy your university, because everyone that I've talked to that are in the workplace just miss university so much. So really just take that on its nose and just really immerse yourself. That's what I would say for me.
I think for me, let me think. So, okay, first one is like don't be too anxious. I feel like when I was in like second year and I'm just seeing all these, I said I was doing private tutoring, right? I think like a really big motivational factor for me was the fact that so many other people were doing like what I thought back then as like a real job, like going to an office and things like that. So I was like, oh my gosh, like maybe I should be doing all that. But I think like honestly, in the end, everyone just kind of like gets what they want anyway. So there's no really like, and even if they don't, it's like it turns out to be what they want, you know what I mean? So even if like it takes a longer time or anything, just don't be too anxious. Like prioritize your mental health. Like don't burn yourself out. Second point is like stay in touch with your past self and your past friends. I think when I came into uni, I took my high school friends for granted, because like they were just, a lot of them came with me to university, but because I just kind of like went into societies and things like that, I didn't always like keep in touch with them as much as I would have in high school. So I think like still whenever I catch up with my high school friends now, I'm like, oh my gosh, like you really know me on a different level to everyone else. And I think like it's really good having those people who just kind of like know you, even if you don't have to explain. So like really think it's great to have like such a good, just like don't neglect your past self, you know, and like your past friends, just keep in touch with like the people that really bring value to you. And I think my final point is also to really like don't take your family for granted, because I think like a lot of us might be able to resonate, but when we're in uni, we're all about friends and like we're all about developing ourselves professionally and things like that. But that means we have to kind of like sacrifice our time with our family. I think for me, that's something I always like kind of pushed back whenever I had something on. But these days, I've definitely been like trying to put them first. So like when we make plans, I definitely try to like make sure I follow through with my family plans, even if that means like saying no to other things that I've had in plan. But that's because like your family is going to be there with you for your like whole life, right? Like especially if you have siblings. So I think just knowing that you'll be able to support them and they also feel supported. Like imagine your parents like looking after you for like 20 years and then suddenly they're just like living their own life and like rejecting all your offers to like hang out with them. It's kind of sad. So I think like for my first year self, like love your family a bit more.
Okay.
Right, it's a conference in that.
All right.
Oh, a bit more, bro, a bit more.
Yeah.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys. Cheers.
Oh, I don't like that. Oh,
I think Sriracha's still hotter. I don't think that's that hot.
Oh, it's all over my
I like
tongue.
that.
Yeah, it's not bad.
jeez. Okay. So obviously you guys have been here. You're now in your 3rd year. Am I correct? Yes, of course. And
You good, Will?
oh. So for the students that maybe are looking to get more things out of their professional life, maybe their social university life, and looking. Wait, is that? I'm sorry, not real. Oh, I'm losing it. All right, so yeah, you guys have been here for 3 years now in the uni life. It's been a while. You got some experience, and you're obviously both working quite professional, you might say, careers. We're wondering how, for maybe a student that is interested in trying to get away from that, just like the social aspects of uni, and they're trying to transition into more professional, what kind of opportunities or things that they could do would you suggest for them to do to make that transition?
I think there's 2 aspects of this. One is firstly build. It's sort of Firstly, it's preparing yourself to go through all these like application processes and finding jobs. But the second one is actually on the job. So I would say in preparing, you sort of really want to be involved in a lot of these interview workshops that a lot of societies run, but also these resume workshops, cover letter workshops, or a lot of these networking events that we hold. Those are really important with firstly getting your foot in the door and meeting a lot of these graduates, meeting a lot of these recruiters from these different companies, but also building up your speaking skills and being confident in being able to talk in front of company managers, company recruiters, or even partners that come through. So that's probably the first one. Just make sure that you lay yourself out. Make sure you actually begin that journey of trying to find maybe an internship or a part-time job. And then secondly, it's about applying. There's two approaches to this. You can either do a machine gun approach or you can do a sniper rifle approach. The machine gun approach is where you essentially just apply to anything and everything. And so this can be from different industries, different sectors, different types of roles, full-time, part-time, internships, clerks. And then there's also the sniper rifle approach where you know the direction you want to head, you know the type of role, the sort of title, the industry, or even some companies that you want to apply to. And then you tailor your resume, you tailor your cover letters, and even just the research that you do specified to those companies that you're reaching out to. And so I'd say, people can choose which one they want to do. It works for both works for all types of people. It's kind of just what you want to do, but I'd say you need to firstly set yourself up. So brush up your cover letters, brush up your resumes, start talking to other people in a bit more of a professional manner. Try to not stutter too much. Just think of all those things that can really make sure that you set yourself up well. And then secondly, just get your foot out there, start applying, and even if you do get rejected, there's always a learning experience within each one that you can take on to the next step, and then the next job, and then eventually and hopefully you'll land something that you'll like.
So in terms of like mindset wise, how do I go from like 1 hour being like with my mates and then next hour just like going to work or whatever? I think like best thing is not to take things too seriously. Like even at work, you're not just like a machine, you're like still you, right, doing your work. So you don't have to like just be like a completely different person at work or anything like that. So in that aspect, it's like super easy. And secondly, you want to just kind of like, I don't know, I think it's something you develop over time, like that mindset. Even in high school, like there's a difference between you just like switching on for study versus like when you're like out with your friends, right? So I think that kind of like mindset switch is something you develop. You just like, it's just like something you just need to learn how to navigate. I guess like one thing that helps is just like thinking about it a little bit more consciously, like in the beginning of the day. So I look at my calendar, I'm like, what do I have today? And then I just kind of like, I'm like until 5, I'm like complete concentrate, and then afterwards I can just like let time, let time do its thing. Instead of trying to fight against time. So I guess there's like a few different aspects to that question.
Yeah, cool. I think you covered it.
How about you guys? Like, how have you found sort of approaching things like setting up for the day or like mentally preparing for the tasks ahead?
I'll speak about this first.
Yeah.
Like for me, I feel like it's really important to have like downtime. There's like, I find it, and maybe this is just me speaking for myself, but I find it like difficult to switch from being like completely social to being professional like immediately. So if there is like a little bit of time between that, just to like center yourself and like prepare for your next task ahead, I feel like that's really useful for myself.
Yeah, I think I agreed with what you guys were saying. Like trying to like speak to more people more professionally has helped me, I think, whereas like coming out of high school, I think I was like, I would say in every sentence, and I would be like which I still do a bit. Yeah. But I find that now I'm able to go into like a lot of different social situations, whether that is work, and currently working as like a medical receptionist, right? So there I do have to maintain a level of formality, but I don't feel like that's too removed from myself just normally anyway. And I think that for me has helped sort of bridge that gap between working professionally and working or not working, being social.
Yeah,
Nice.
definitely. What about
Cool.
yourself, Finn?
I think you guys have covered it, sort of like mentally preparing, giving yourself a little bit of a break before you make
Yeah.
that switch. But I feel like coming, especially like this year, where you have to obviously be a bit more responsible, like we were saying earlier, I feel like you should have, like, I've tried to develop that sort of ability to make that switch where I go from like being silly, being a bit goofy, so then like putting on a more serious face, like where it's needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't.
All right,
Cheers, guys.
let's go, champions.
Boys. Cheers.
Go.
Alright.
So, Sarah, you mentioned before how in your first year you felt like you had to make a lot of sacrifices to, I guess, spending time with your loved ones outside of society. I'll speak on my own experience as well. Like, I felt very much the same. So, on top of work and like BSOC stuff, and it's also the social commitment we have to people around us, I felt like I was sacrificing a lot of time with my family. So, like, where I would used to have family dinners like every single night, like sometimes I'd only see them 1 or 2 nights a week. So I guess this is for both of you. What do you feel like your biggest sacrifice, I guess, stepping into the executive position has been?
I'd say for me, there isn't sort of one glaring one that sort of drops from being an executive, but more so I would say that at times you can kind of see that all different facets of your life starts to go down in terms of the amount of time you spend on them. So let's say there's a very busy period within our executive roles, then you might see a bit less studying in the week, or a bit less sleep, or a bit more time focused on trying to make sure that you have adequate time to have some downtime. I think those things are really important in terms of what you need when times get rough. So I would say just holistically, even there could be times where I just don't see my family for dinner for a week and a half, and I do feel terrible when that happens, but some stuff are just more important at times, and then when roles start to ease a little bit, that's where I can just devote and sort of make up for that time in different ways with my family, not even just making up for all those dinners, but just spending more time talking to them. So I think that would be really important in terms of when times get rough. But I would say just holistically for me, sort of all these different aspects around me start to go down a little bit, and not one glaring one from my perspective.
I think like kind of same. I don't think there's one particular thing where I'm like, oh, like I've really neglected that. I mean, there are a few, but I don't think that's really like necessarily because of BSOC. It might also just be like me and how I manage my time and things like that. But I would say like I kind of have a problem with overcommitting to things. So like I always, as I said, like I always just kind of like put my hand up for like all these random opportunities. But I think now I've just been like a lot more conscious about what I think will bring value to me, and like just prioritizing based on what I really want to get out of like this particular thing I'm signing up for. So that's just kind of one thing that's helped me with like the whole sacrificing all these things that Will mentioned. One other thing, like this might seem kind of silly, but last year I really wanted to apply for exchange to go on this year, but I obviously I got pres first, so like, I couldn't apply for exchange, things like that. But that's fine because like you can go next year, or like I can travel in my own time. But yeah, it's just like I kind of always come across things where I'm like having to make these decisions now, whereas before, like even last year, the first year advice I used to give was like just like try anything and everything, but I think like now that I think about it, just I have to be a little bit more thoughtful about what I put my hand up for. So I take back all that advice. No, I'm joking. It's still good to like put up your hand for things, but I think just like being a bit more conscious is also really important.
I'll hop in with a question we actually asked a lot in subcom interviews. So in terms of like your guys' shoes, how do you personally try managing your own time? So obviously you guys have got work going on, co-presidency, uni life, your social time with mates, your family life. How do you manage all of that at once?
I don't know if this sounds so weird, but I just like using my calendar.
Yeah.
Like I have a different calendar like for each of my like buckets of life. So like uni, it's like orange, so I would just like put all the things in my calendar, like block out the times I have to spend on tasks and things like that, leaving like ample time for each thing so I don't feel like I'm rushing anything. So like all my events, I put that in a different calendar, like work stuff in a different calendar. Everything's like color coded, which means when I'm looking at my week, I'm able to see like how much I'm dedicating to each thing. And therefore I'm able to like reassess whether I want to like focus more on one thing or another for the next week and things like that. So I guess it's a little bit of like a learning curve that I kind of had to go through, because I was so bad at balancing my time. Like I just like burnt myself out so many times, and then I pick myself up again, and then I burn out again and things like that. So yeah, one thing I've been really trying to do is like don't be too hard on myself, and like I give myself ample time to do things, and then yeah, reassess. And like downtime, so important. I think like just when I'm like trying to like not do anything else, I literally try not to think about anything in my downtime. So like I just have that empty in my calendar, and like I get to do whatever I want. And like yeah, I think that's just been really helpful to like even like balancing my time. I think it's really helpful too.
What's your downtime looking like?
Honestly, like I love sitting in my bed, it's kind of gross, but I love lying in my bed watching a movie, eating cheese. Eating cheese.
I like Swiss cheese. How about you, Will, in terms of your own sort of personal buckets, as Sarah put it?
Yeah, for me, definitely same thing. Google Calendar has literally saved my life, because definitely with everything with work, and also just personal life, study, different events, those sort of match up really well in terms of putting it all in one calendar, because you can sort of subscribe to other calendars and have them all in one. That has been so helpful. So if someone's like, hey, you want to go to the gym tonight? I'll be like, oh, I got this meeting on tonight, unfortunately I can't go. Things like that really helps, because it can just slip your mind so easily, especially with a lot of things going on at once. Now, I would say a bit of a unique tip that I've sort of experimented with over my years is having dedicated days for certain different things. So for example, currently I work part-time, and so I work mostly Mondays, Tuesdays and Fridays. So each of those work days, you're working 9 to 5, 9 to 6, whatever it is. I would say that for me, and I'm not sure for the others and the rest of you, but I can't really do good quality study after I do 8 hours of work. And so I go, I leave my house at around 7:30. I get home by around, 6 or 7, eat dinner and I shower, and then all of a sudden it's 9 or 10 p.m. And so you've had a rough day, so you don't want to sort of do more work. So that's why I kind of use those days as my downtime. I know that, today's my work day, but it's also at night going to be my downtime day. I can also, and I really do like working on BSOC stuff in those, in that downtime as well. So whenever it's a work day, nighttime's kind of BSOC/chill. But then there's also a day, for example, on Wednesdays, fortnightly for BSOC, we have our board meetings, and with that, that's kind of my university day. So I'll come early in the morning, do a little bit of study, but also meet a lot of people, jump in and out of sort of rooms and classes to meet people, get lunch with others as well, and also just do my tutes on that day as well, stack them all in one day. So that's kind of my university day. So planning your days around that, I think, is really important, because what people tend to do when they're planning is to try to stack everything, but have it stacked way too much. So after a day of work, planning 4 hours of study at night and doing 2 hours of revision, a lot of those things are very unrealistic. So making sure that you're a bit more flexible with your time, and you're structuring it like that, I find has helped me so much immensely in terms of how I want to structure my days and my weeks.
Yeah. I think like it comes down to your energy levels, right? So like Will was saying, after work he can't study like really intense. So like in that time, kind of same as me, so in that time like you're low energy, so you do tasks that are low energy. Whereas in the morning, some people are really like focused in the morning, so you would do like your intense study there, things like that. And then like throughout the day, maybe 2 p.m. when you get tired, you can take a nap or whatever. But if you want to like do something productive, again, you can do something like admin work or whatever. So yeah, I think like getting to know yourself and like how your energy levels fluctuate throughout the day is really helpful.
Are you guys morning or night people?
Dude, I don't think I'm either.
He's a midday person.
Okay, I definitely can't like study at night. I generally can't study past 10. Yeah.
My most productive past 10.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I've trained my body to be productive from like 12 to 4 a.m. And like I can only study between
I'm
those
sorry.
hours. And then like 2 to 4 is like my most productive.
That's
And
the
I
most
crash.
insane schedule.
But like it works. Like I don't know, I get so much work done during those hours.
Once again, we do not provide study tips on this channel.
What about you?
I don't know. I feel like whenever I have time, I study.
Same. Whenever I have time, but generally like evening to
Yeah.
the, like to a point. Like
Yeah.
I can. That's when I
Yeah.
can do work.
Yeah.
Fun fact about me, I used to be a very early morning person. Like, I used to wake up 5 a.m., 6 a.m. consistently and I just grind in the morning. Yeah. But I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, those AMs those AMs turned into PMs and then I just started being a night person. So similar to Angela, my most productive hours are literally like 10 to 2 somehow. But yeah, I think it's just kind of what works for you. But if you do start work, you find that you can't afford to sleep at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. So it kind of changes a little bit.
This one's thick.
It is.
Oh. Yeah.
Cheers, guys.
Jinkies.
Wow.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Have a little more, Sarah. Yeah.
Cheers.
Alright, cheers.
Oh, that's hot.
No, it's not.
You guys are weak.
So, obviously, we've talked a bit today about how important networking opportunities, professional development, professional opportunities, that sort of stuff is for BSOC. So, how would you suggest that younger students actually do get involved in uni to try and access these, to try and better themselves professionally and personally?
Well, I think like a really common mindset that I come across is, oh, I'll go like if you go, or like I'll go if my friends are going. But like with networking opportunities, you're not going to, for example, go to a networking event and just hang out with your friends. I feel like that's just such a waste of it. So you're going to like spend most of your time alone anyway, in terms of like without people you already know. The whole purpose of it is to like meet new people, right? So just like, even if it's a little bit more uncomfortable, if it's something that you think you'll get value out of, if you think you're going to like gain something from it and you want to go, just like go for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You okay?
I'm okay.
Like, yeah. I think like that mindset, I still do it to this day. Like, I'll go if you go, that kind of thing. Like, we need to like just grow out of that. And that's kind of like the tip I would give, not just to young people, but like everyone.
Yeah.
Agree.
Yeah, for me, I want to like hone in on the point that Sarah said about kind of the if you go, I'll go. I'd say that there has to be a point where you do things for yourself no matter if you have friends going or not. So I think a big part that comes with that is definitely just being a bit anxious or shy going to these different type of events because they are very daunting. Even for me, even being co-president now and having 3 years of I guess just speaking to a lot of people, a lot of these networking events before I enter, I still have a lot of nervousness and a lot of anxiousness, but I'd say just to fight those off, just do it. Just like Nike says, a lot of times where I'm at these hey, come on. A lot of these networking events, when I want to talk to a certain sponsor, and I'm feeling a bit shy, in my head I just go, when I count to 3, I'm just gonna go and send it. So I go 1, 2, 3, and then I just bolt right to what I want to do. And so I think stuff like that's really important. And I think setting down your nerves a lot before as well is really cool. So a lot of these times, whether it be networking events or a big presentation, I like to clap on my AirPods and go to a very far area and just start singing. So I'll just sing anything that I want to the top of my lungs. So it sort of just lets me be a bit looser. So when I go to the event or to the presentation, I'm one with myself and I feel very free. So I think those are very, very unique tips, I'd say, to make sure that you are involving yourself a lot. And even if you're a bit shy, that you can really, really just do it.
Just do it. So cringe, man.
Hey, come on, man.
What are both
kinda
your
like it.
like sort of hype songs or hype up songs?
Ooh. Are you like I'm on top of the world? Like, I'm on top of the world. Hey, I love that one a lot.
Year 6 formal song. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
How about you, Sarah? Any sort of songs get you hyped up?
I listen to like really sad songs.
Oh.
Like sad,
feel
like Korean sad songs. They have like a lot of ones where they like literally pour their heart out,
You're right.
and I feel like it's really like I don't even care about the lyrics. It's just like
The emotion.
It's like
it's like
therapeutic.
yeah,
almost.
it's like
Yeah.
therapeutic, literally.
Hey,
I'm excited.
So
Hey.
so don't do that.
you said these were all easy, bro.
Oh, it like smells really bad. Like
It doesn't smell good.
Okay, guys, like,
Yeah,
just
that's
get
it.
ready.
Yeah?
Cheers, guys.
Ooh.
It's hitting now. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it's hitting. Wait,
It is definitely hitting.
So, obviously, subcommittee has just started. What are you guys looking most forward to in the next sort of 2 terms ish?
I'll answer for Sarah for now. She's going to do a little bit. Honestly, I'm going to do a little bit as well. Okay. When I was in first year, entering BSOC, I had such a great experience. So I was in the philanthropy subcommittee, and it was honestly like family. So not even within my portfolio, but also in the division as well. And at BSOC as a whole, I literally met like my lifelong friends there as well. Just so good. Hopping on calls during COVID, going on these night drives, hanging around uni. Cheers, man. And so I definitely enjoyed that so much. And honestly, one of the best things that's happened to me since my university journey began. But then leading on to that, into directorship, I also gained a lot of value having my 10 little kids in social, and also just relaying a lot of these big social events to the students. Hundreds and hundreds of people coming to our events and having a really good time. And so that's why in the co-presidency role, one of my main sort of ambitions is to give that experience back to the first years. And so that's what I'm most keen about, is to make sure that they go into BSOC. Everyone hears what it's all about, but then to actually be in the society makes it so much better. And so relaying that experience back to them, and giving the value back that I've received myself, that's what I'm definitely most excited about. For this year for subcommittee.
Yeah.
What aspect of life are you most excited to show?
Ooh, friendships and memories, most definitely. That just stands out so much to me. Even right now, with the directors, with the executives especially, sometimes we just spend nights on a video call, just watching these Facebook videos or YouTube videos together. And they can be the most random videos, but we just laugh our asses off for like hours on end. So it's just things like that, little things like that, is what I really want to show them what BSOC's all about.
Yeah, I think like pretty much the same, and I really want them to try this as well. That's my goal for the next 2.5 terms. But honestly, like I think it's really good that we have this kind of space for everyone to just like meet and get really close within. Even if you knew each other in high school, like you get to know each other on like a whole different level. You're literally going through like a different stage of life together.
Different stage of pain right now.
Yeah. And I think that's just like really valuable, so excited to see everyone get closer.
Good job for taking that second dab though. Like the second dab was really
That was
Yeah, I think
unbelievable.
that was a mistake.
You guys mistook. That was awful.
that was
How
quite
did you
a
do
lot. Respect.
I'm gonna pass out soon.
Every time I breathe out,
Flames.
It's like getting hotter and hotter.
You know what? Just because you double did that one, you can chill. Like you have to still eat
can
it,
we chill?
but you can like dab it. Just quick dab.
Ooh, that one tastes. Sorry, that one smells the hottest out of the ones I've smelled.
All right, now it's a part of the interview where we flip it back onto the interviewers. So I just wanted to ask you guys, so far in your directorship roles in publications, what has been the sole favorite memory that you've had so far? Can be from when you were in first year, one standout first year, directorship, doesn't even need to be for your subcom, can be with the board of directors or anything in between.
I'm happy to go first. So, with the board road trip, beginning of this year, coming to directorship, I feel like we weren't at that close at that stage compared to where we are now. So, I remember the second night, I had a little bit of first year's guide left to do, and I was planning to do it. And I started working on it. It was going well, going good. And then Big Kev, Big J come along. Shout out Kev and Jason. They come through, and then we start cracking on it. And then we start interviewing other board members for their board profile section of First Year's Guide. I'll just say that it devolved quite quickly to a level where probably if that got out, BSOC wouldn't really be a constituent society for much longer. No, it was good. It was good fun, good laughs. I think we kept going on that till about 6:30
Oh my
a.m.
tell them how you slept.
So after
Sorry.
that, it got to about 5:30. Pat Conweck's back up. Shout out Pat. He comes. He reads the entire thing. He loses his mind because he loses his mind, and then everyone's like, "Yeah, let's go to bed." It's like 7 o'clock now, right? So, on like sofas, there's like the headrest part. I'm sleeping, planking on that, just planking. I slept there for like an hour and a half. Woke up, the sorest my lats have ever been. I was like, Amy, why are my lats so sore? And she goes, yeah, that was good fun for me. Yeah, had a good time.
For me, not really like one singular standout moment, but I really liked like staying up late and just like working and stuff with these guys. So like for careers guide and the first year's guide, we would like stay up like late so like maybe like 5 a.m.
Yeah.
And people would like jump into our calls and every now and then.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, it was just like very nice bonding. Had a couple D&Ms, you know.
Yeah.
There's one that stands out.
There's one that stands out definitely. But again, we want to stay constituent society, so maybe not for this one. But yeah, I don't know. I just like really love just like spending time just talking with these guys. I don't know. Actually, pretty cute, pretty wholesome. But yeah.
I think I agree. Like, yeah, I definitely agree with those things. I think the culmination of that for me was like when all of that came and we released the first year's guide and releasing the careers guide, and then just like being able to see them and look at them and go like we really all those deep and meaningfuls at 5 a.m. were worth
Yeah.
it. Like here it is in my hand, flicking through the pages. Like wow, like I remember working on this and being like, so Siebes.
Yeah.
No way I'm gonna get this done.
Yeah.
I feel like that's something we're quite fortunate in that sense because like it's not a lot of roles where you have something that comes to fruition in sort of like a physical product. Exactly, right? So like you get to physically hold something you've spent so much time, so much effort on.
Yeah.
Something unique that like I guess ops gets to sort of do. It's
100%.
particularly pubs that will that book.
Yeah.
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 And it's like it really felt like everyone was there like every step of the way,
Yeah.
like supporting us.
Like all of exec especially, all of ops in particular as well, yeah.
Like even
Yeah.
if we were on call at like 4, I remember we asked you Will to hop on to like help us and you were like so down.
Yeah.
So like we definitely felt very supported.
Yeah,
in that
100%.
sense.
Or like random like Helen drops in after she gets home
Yeah,
from, like
yeah.
being out all night and just like
Yeah.
let me read it, like I'll help. So nice, such a great community.
Yeah.
Like
What about you
Jensen
guys?
hops on. Jensen hopped
sorry.
on that one time after
Yeah.
post camp dinner.
Yeah.
I'll show you the photo after because I can't show you now, but unreal conversation from that man.
Any standout moments for you guys like this year, I guess?
I actually really liked board road trip as well. Like that was really fun, and it was just really good. Like seeing all the boys just like become this mass of one. Like I swear, everyone just went everyone together, and I was like, oh my god, they're like ants, like following each other around. And you guys are like really fun, and I think in that moment because like everyone was together, just like letting loose and things like that. I was like, wow, we chose like such a good group of kids.
Yeah.
Like, so cute. Like, I think all the small moments with like exec, it's just like lovely, you know.
Yeah.
We talk about like everything and anything.
I'd like to just bring one up from last year in my directorship role. My big standout would always still be camp. Running camp was honestly transformative experience. Just like the publications team for the first year's guides and the careers guides, our summer's also really packed in terms of preparing for camp because that's 4 people working on one camp. That's a lot of things to do. But just being there at the camp, seeing all these first years, seeing hundreds of people just come together from all these different backgrounds, all these different schools, and just making sure that they just had such a good time. Stepping back, I remember just from all the stress and just looking at everyone vibing with each other, having so much laughter and having so much fun. It just made me really appreciate how much value the business society brought, and just made me really, really happy because after the camp, you know, these first years are coming up to you. They're like, oh my gosh, thanks so much for running this. I made so many friends. Like I love it so much, and that just makes it so much more valuable in the first place. So that's just one of my most favorite memories. Even though it was a long weekend, I probably did in total probably did like 70,000 steps in those 3 days. But it was one of the most rewarding things ever, and I just love it to this day.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Sweet.
Nice. Time for the last one?
Time for the
Last one.
Let's do it.
3,
Let's go.
I'm actually scared now, but
1. Let's run that.
Cheers,
Let's go,
guys.
boys. Oh my god.
Oh.
Okay. It's hot, but it actually did taste really
Oh, but it's so yummy. Okay, this one's hot.
good. Okay.
I quite like it.
You
You know what?
Oh my god.
It's like making my head itchy.
Oh my god. Oh. Josh.
It's quite nice.
Okay.
Let's ask a final question.
Right. Last thing. I'll open this up to the floor. What's one thing? Oh my god, it's coming.
Oh
What's
no.
one thing that you would most like to change in your time at BSOC? Sarah, let's start with you.
I think I wish I was more organised last year.
Yeah, of course.
I think like a lot of the times I did things quite last minute for the events I was organising, which meant that like it was just really stressful in those last moments. So yeah, I just wish I like had better organisation.
How about you, Josh? What's one thing you would like to change?
Look, I think this is a cop-out answer, but COVID, if it went away, I think it would have been great. I also wish, low-key, I wish I started earlier, even. My first year, I wasn't in BSOC. I wasn't in BSOC for my first year uni. I just didn't really know about it. And I really wish that...
Yeah, keep going.
I really wish that I had, because it was such a great experience, and I feel like during my first year uni, I didn't really know what was going on.
Yeah. We'll run it back. Pinky red, let's go run it.
Oh. No, what are you doing?
Run it.
Actually, my mouth is on fire. Thank you. We'll just share this.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's my answer, guys.
Nice.
Join BSOC.
How about you, Angela?
I think I should have taken. I feel like I should have like put myself out there more in terms of like really jumping at opportunities when they came up. Like a lot of the times, I feel like a lot of opportunities, whether that be social or professional, pass me by. Like I was kind of always like, I didn't, I guess, feel like I was adequate enough to take some professional roles, which, you know, like looking back, I wish I'd like at least tried, and even if it didn't work out, at least I could like learn from that. But yeah, I guess that's one for me.
I think I'll probably agree with you there. Like, even though all three of us were lucky enough to be in subcom last year,
Yeah.
like personally, I don't think, like, even though I got so much out of it, I didn't put myself forward as much as I should have or could have.
Exactly.
So in terms of like grabbing any opportunity that came my way with both hands, that sort of, I think that mindset sort of changed, especially being around the group that board is this year, where everyone tries to push each other in the best possible way. Far out, sorry. Yeah, it's just that side of things, like pushing each other and like not taking opportunities like in subcom where I could have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of opportunities, does anyone want to take some more sauce?
Hell nah.
What are you saying, bro?
I'm liking this side.
You just have them all.
Yeah, for me, I think I love my time at BSOC, but a lot of times I would have sacrificed a lot of stuff for my family and also my relationships as well. Whether that be my high school friends or my girlfriend as well. Yeah.
Do you want to give her a shout out?
Shout out to Chloe. I love you.
So cringe, man.
A lot of times, a bit of sacrifice there. So just having a bit more balance. But yeah, just loved everything so far.
Sweet, that's the question side of thing done.
How'd you find the sources?
It was honestly like so easy until the last three.
Dude, no, the sources were easy besides the bomb.
No,
and
it
then
was
after
the
that,
bomb,
it was crazy.
and then not that one, and then the last
I think the bomb primes you, and then like that one just like...
Oh, jeez.
Finishes you.
It's not even exponential, it's just linear until the first 7, and the last 3 are just off the charts.
Alright guys, thanks for tuning in to our first real episode for this year.
Yeah.
Special thank you to Will and Sarah for giving up your time to come. I know you guys have a packed schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks heaps guys.
Thanks
so much.
much.
Easy.
It was fun.
Sweet. See you guys in a fortnight.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.